English Edge podcast.
From the English Clarity Lab.
Welcome back to the English Clarity Lab. I'm Mary, and today we are going to talk about a situation that makes almost everyone, especially English learners, feel incredibly, sweaty.
Just sweaty? I think terrified might be a better word, Mary. Hi everyone, I'm James, and yeah, we're talking about that moment when you see something wrong with someone else, but you're too afraid to say anything because you don't want to be that person.
Exactly. We call it the Spinach Rule. Imagine you're at a dinner party and your friend has a giant piece of green spinach stuck right in their front teeth. Do you tell them?
Oh man, that's the worst. My brain usually goes into a panic. I think if I tell them, they'll be embarrassed, but if I don't tell them, they'll keep talking to people with a salad in their mouth. It's a lose-lose, right?
Actually, James, it's a win-win if you use the right language. The Spinach Rule says that telling someone a small, awkward truth now saves them from a much bigger embarrassment later. In English culture, especially in professional or semi-formal settings, being kind often means being clear.
Kind is clear. I like that. But it's the how that's hard. I don't want to sound like I'm criticizing them or, acting like I'm better than them.
That is exactly what we're tackling today. We have a very specific scenario today that isn't about spinach, but it is about preventing a disaster. James, set the scene for us.
Okay, so picture this. You're in a library, but not the quiet books part. You're in the maker space. There are 3D printers buzzing everywhere. It's a cool, high-tech vibe. You're working on your own project, and next to you is a guy you've seen a few times. You don't know his name. Let's call him Dave.
Okay, Dave is focused. He has his headphones on.
Right, and you look over at Dave's 3D printer. It's been running for 6 hours, but something has gone south. The plastic isn't sticking to the plate anymore. Instead of a cool dragon or whatever he's making, the printer is just spitting out a huge, tangled bird's nest of wasted plastic. It's a total mess.
Ouch, that's expensive filament being wasted.
Tons of it, and Dave is just sitting there looking at his laptop, completely unaware that his 12-hour print is currently becoming a spaghetti monster. Now, as an English learner, do you interrupt this stranger? Do you tap him on the shoulder and say, "Hey, you're failing"?
Please don't say you're failing. That's definitely not the English Clarity Lab way. Let's break down the vocabulary we need to handle Dave and his spaghetti monster politely.
Please save me from the awkwardness.
The first phrase we used was to go south. James, you used that perfectly. When a situation or machine goes south, it means it starts to fail or get worse. It's a great idiomatic way to describe a problem without sounding too dramatic.
You could say to yourself, "Oh no, Dave's print is really going south."
It's a bit more casual than saying it is malfunctioning, right?
Much more natural.
Now, when you actually approach Dave, you need a softener. This is a phrase that prepares the listener for bad news. My favorite for this scenario is not to be a Debbie Downer, but...
Debbie Downer? That sounds like a name from a 90s cartoon.
It actually comes from a famous comedy sketch. A Debbie Downer is someone who always finds the negative in a situation. By saying not to be a Debbie Downer, you're telling Dave, I'm not trying to be mean or ruin your mood, but I have to tell you something unpleasant.
Oh, I see. It's like a shield. I'm not a negative person. I'm just the messenger.
Precisely. Another one is to catch something early. This is your justification for interrupting. You aren't interrupting to be rude. You're interrupting because you want to catch the problem early so he doesn't waste another 6 hours of plastic.
So I'm actually being a hero.
In the world of 3D printing, absolutely. Because in the long run, Dave will be grateful. He might be annoyed for a second that his print failed, but he'll be happy he didn't waste the whole night.
Okay, I'm feeling more confident. But Mary, how do I actually start? I'm in a quiet library, Dave has headphones on. It feels so aggressive to just start talking.
You're right. In a quiet space, the physical approach matters as much as the words. You want to steer clear of jumping right into his personal space. Stand a few feet away, give a small wave to get his attention, and wait for him to take one headphone off. Then you lead with the Spinach Rule logic.
Okay, let's try it. I'll be the awkward learner and you be the analytical guide giving me the script.
Let's do it. Imagine I'm Dave, I've got my headphones on, I'm typing away. Go.
Hey, excuse me? Sorry to bother you.
Oh, hi. Sorry, was I being loud? No, not at all. Not to be a Debbie Downer, but I think your print might have gone south a little bit. Oh, no, is it? Oh man, it's a total mess. How long has it been like that?
I just noticed it a minute ago. I wanted to tell you so you could catch it early and not waste any more filament. I figured it's better safe than sorry, you know?
Oh, wow. Thank you so much. I would have sat here for 3 more hours. I really appreciate you saying something.
Wait, that actually went well. He wasn't mad?
Why would he be mad, James? You saved him time and money. You used the phrase better safe than sorry. That's a classic English closer for an awkward situation. It explains that your motive was purely helpful.
I noticed I used I think your print might have gone south. Why did I say might? It was clearly a disaster.
That is a hedging verb. Even when you are 100% sure the print is ruined, using might or seems to makes the correction feel less like an attack. It gives Dave the space to look at it and reach the same conclusion himself. It's very polite English.
So Mary, I have a question. You called it the Spinach Rule, and we used the 3D printer example. But what if the situation is, well, more personal? Like what if someone actually does have spinach in their teeth, or their zipper is down, or they have a smudge of ink on their face? Does the language change when it's about their body?
That is a fantastic point, James. It does change slightly. When we talk about a machine or project like Dave's 3D printer, we can be a bit more matter-of-fact. But when the problem is on the person's body, we use even more protective language.
Protective, like wearing a helmet?
Not quite. I mean language that protects their dignity. In English-speaking cultures, especially in the UK or North America, we try to minimize the number of people who hear the correction. We call this discretion.
Oh, discretion. That's a great B2 word. It means being careful not to attract too much attention, right?
Exactly. So instead of waving from across the room, you would move closer and lower your voice. You might use the phrase, I wanted to mention something privately.
Ooh, that sounds serious. If someone said that to me, I'd think I was getting fired.
Well, that's why the second half of the sentence is so important. You follow it immediately with the Spinach Rule logic. You say, I wanted to mention something privately just because I'd want someone to tell me.
Ah, I'd want someone to tell me. That is the magic phrase, isn't it? It shows empathy. It says, I'm not judging you because I've been there too.
Spot on, James. It removes the hierarchy. You aren't the teacher and they aren't the failing student. You're just two humans helping each other smooth things over.
To smooth things over. Let's pause there. That's a phrasal verb, right?
It is. To smooth things over means to make a situation less awkward or to fix a small problem before it causes a big argument. In this context, you're smoothing over their social experience.
Okay, let's look at another phrase I've heard. To bite the bullet. Does that fit here?
It fits perfectly for the person giving the news. To bite the bullet means to accept something difficult or unpleasant because it is necessary. For many of our listeners, telling a stranger their 3D print is failing or that they have a stain on their shirt feels like biting the bullet. It's uncomfortable, but you do it anyway.
I definitely have to bite the bullet every time I have to complain about something in English. My heart starts racing and I just want to steer clear of the whole thing.
And that is the most common mistake. People think that by steering clear, they're being polite. But think about Dave. If you steered clear of him, he would lose $20 worth of plastic in 5 hours of his life. Is that polite?
When you put it like that, no, it's actually kind of mean.
Exactly. So let's look at the grammar of honesty. When we give this kind of feedback, we often use modal verbs to soften the blow. Words like might, could, would, or seem.
Right, like when I said, it seems like your print has gone south.
Yes. Compare these two sentences, James. Sentence A, your 3D printer is broken. Sentence B, it looks like your 3D printer might be having a bit of a struggle. Which one feels better?
Sentence B, definitely. Sentence A sounds like a Google Home notification. It's too cold. Sentence B feels like a neighborly observation.
That's the Clarity Lab's secret. We use it looks like or I noticed that to frame the problem as an observation rather than a fact. It allows the other person to save face.
To save face, we should define that for the listeners.
Saving face means avoiding embarrassment or maintaining your reputation. By saying, I noticed, you give them the chance to say, oh, you're right, I didn't see that. They don't feel caught being stupid, they feel helped being busy.
That's a huge psychological shift. I'm not catching them making a mistake. I'm noticing a situation they were too busy to see. I like that. It makes me feel much less like a Debbie Downer.
Exactly. Now, let's talk about the long run. You mentioned that Dave might be annoyed for a second. That is the short-term reaction. But in the long run, he'll remember you as that helpful person in the makerspace.
And maybe next time, if my 3D printer starts making a plastic monster, he'll tell me.
That is the social compound interest of the Spinach Rule. You build a culture of helpfulness.
Okay, so we've covered the approach, the softening language, and the discretion part. But what if Dave is a jerk? What if I say, "Hey, your print is failing," and he says, "Mind your own business"?
Ah, the fear of the jerk. This is what keeps most people silent. But here's the secret, James. If you use the spinach rule phrases we taught today, the softeners, the discretion, the wave, it is almost impossible for a normal person to be angry.
Almost?
Well, there's always a 1% chance. But if they're angry, that is a reflection of them, not your English. You did the right thing. You bit the bullet. If they choose to waste their plastic, that's on them.
That's a good point. That's on them. That means it's their responsibility, right?
Correct. You fulfilled your social obligation. You can walk away knowing you weren't a Debbie Downer. You were a diplomat.
I love that. A makerspace diplomat.
Exactly. Let's do one more quick practice. I'm going to give you a body-based spinach rule situation. We're in a professional meeting. It's B2 level business English. I am the boss, and I have a huge smudge of dry erase marker on my forehead from earlier. We're about to walk into a meeting with a big client. What do you do?
Oh no, the boss? That's high stakes. Okay, I have to use discretion. I shouldn't say it in front of the whole team.
Correct. Start there.
Okay, I'll wait until the others are walking out of the room. I'll step closer. I'll use a lower voice. Mary, could I have a quick second?
Sure, James. We're in a hurry. What is it?
I just wanted to mention something privately. I noticed you have a little bit of marker on your forehead. I just thought I'd catch it early before the client arrives. Better safe than sorry, right?
James, that was perfect. You used the privately softener, the I noticed observation, and the better safe than sorry closer. How did that feel?
Honestly, my heart was still racing a little bit, but the words felt sturdy, like I had a tool to fix the problem instead of just worrying about it.
Sturdy words. I'm going to steal that phrase. That's exactly what we want for our B1 and B2 learners. We want your English to feel like a toolkit. You're not just talking, you're engineering a social outcome.
Speaking of engineering, we should probably get back to Dave and his 3D printer. I feel like we should give the listeners a summary of the steps to the spinach rule before we finish.
Great idea. Let's break it down into 4 clear steps.
Step 1, the assessment. Ask yourself, if I were them, would I want to know? If the answer is yes, because it saves them time, money, or embarrassment in the long run, move to step 2.
Step 2, the approach. Use discretion. If it's a machine or a project, a friendly wave is fine. If it's their body or a personal error, move closer and speak privately. Steer clear of making a scene.
Step 3, the softener. Use your shields. Phrases like not to be a Debbie Downer, I noticed that, or I wanted to mention something privately. Use those modal verbs might, seems, could, or seem.
In step 4, the closer. Remind them why you're telling them. I'd want someone to tell me, or better safe than sorry. This confirms your positive intent.
It's like a sandwich. Helpful intent, the awkward truth, and helpful intent again. An awkward truth sandwich.
I think we're going to have to rename this episode the Awkward Truth Sandwich episode.
I'm hungry now, but before we go, Mary, what happens if we wait too long? What if I see Dave's print failing, but I wait 20 minutes to tell him?
Oh, that is the danger zone. If you wait too long, the spinach rule becomes the criticism rule. If you tell him 20 minutes later, he'll think, why didn't you say something earlier?
So the spinach rule has a timer?
It does. The faster you catch it early, the more helpful you seem. If you wait, it looks like you were watching him fail.
Oof, that's a great tip. Don't watch people fail. That's a good rule for life, not just for English.
It really is. English isn't just about vocabulary and grammar, it's about building relationships, and being brave enough to tell the awkward truth is one of the fastest ways to build a deep, trusting connection with someone.
Even a stranger named Dave in a library makerspace.
Especially Dave.
You know, Mary, thinking about that timer really hits home. I remember once I saw a colleague with his shirt on inside out after he changed for a gym session at lunch. I noticed it at 1 p.m. I didn't say anything because I was too shy. Then at 4 p.m., we were in a huge meeting with the director. I felt so guilty. By then, it was definitely too late to use the spinach rule, wasn't it?
Oh, James, that's the point of no return. If you tell someone at 4 p.m. that they've been walking around like that since lunch, they don't feel helped. They feel like everyone has been laughing at them for 3 hours and you were one of them. That is why to catch something early is the most important part of this whole strategy.
Lesson learned. But let's talk about the language for the super awkward stuff. What if it's not a 3D printer or a shirt? What if it's something like a bad smell or someone talking way too loudly in a library when they think they're being quiet? That feels much harder to smooth over.
Those are quality of life corrections. For those, we use a technique called the we frame. Instead of saying you are being loud, you say, I think our voices might be carrying in here.
We's voices? But I was being quiet.
Exactly. By using we or our, you share the blame. It makes the other person feel like you are both just trying to follow the rules together. It's the ultimate way to steer clear of a confrontation. You could say, I think we might be a bit loud for this space. Should we lower our volume?
Wow, that is so sneaky, but in a good way. It's like a social hug instead of a social punch.
Precisely. Now let's look at a very specific phrase for when things do get a bit tense. Sometimes, despite your soft softeners, the other person might feel a little defensive. In that case, you use the phrase, I hope you don't take this the wrong way.
I hope you don't take this the wrong way. That's a classic. I hear that in movies all the time, right before someone says something really mean.
Well, in movies, yes, but in real life, if you say it with a kind, hesitant tone, it works as a safety net. It tells the other person, my intention is 100% positive, even if my words are a bit uncomfortable.
Okay, let's put it all together for one final boss level challenge. I'm back in that makerspace. Dave is there. His 3D printer is a mess. But this time, Dave is actually a teacher. He's the guy who runs the lab.
Oh, the expert error. This is the hardest one. You are the student, he's the expert, and the expert is failing.
Right. My brain is telling me, James, stay silent. He's the pro. Maybe the plastic spaghetti is part of his plan.
It's never part of the plan, James. In this case, you use the question method. Instead of telling him the print is failing, you ask him a question that makes him look at it.
Like, hey, Dave, is that supposed to look like a pile of noodles?
James, no. Try this. Excuse me, Dave. I'm still learning about these printers. Is it normal for the filament to bunch up like that on the base?
Oh, that's brilliant. I'm pretending to be the learner, which I am, and I'm asking for clarity.
Exactly. You aren't correcting him, you're asking for a lesson. Dave looks over to teach you, sees the mess, and says, oh no, it's failing. He feels like the expert who caught a mistake, and you feel like the helpful student who saved the day.
Mary, you are a genius. You basically just used my own learner status as a social tool.
That is the power of English, James. It's not just about knowing the words for plastic or fail. It's about knowing how to position yourself so everyone leaves the conversation feeling good. That is how you build a reputation for clarity and diplomacy.
I'm feeling so much better about this. I think I'm ready to go find someone with spinach in their teeth just so I can practice.
Please don't go looking for trouble, but if trouble finds you, or if you see a 3D printer going south, you now have the toolkit to handle it.
To summarize for everyone listening, don't be a Debbie Downer, but do bite the bullet. Use your softeners, use discretion, and remember that in the long run, people will thank you for your honesty.
Perfectly said. And remember, if you want the written version of these sturdy phrases, check the show notes. We've listed all the target vocabulary there so you can practice your makerspace diplomacy at home.
Thanks for joining us at the English Clarity Lab. I'm James.
And I'm Mary. We'll see you in the next episode where we'll talk about the art of the polite complaint, how to tell your neighbor their music is too loud without starting a war.
Oh, I definitely need that one. My neighbor just bought a drum kit.
See you next time.